me a little bit about your military background.
Whew. So it joined in 2010, February 11th. Um, okay, so when I initially joined, I was supposed to be a machinist made submarines. Like, honestly, I never wanted this job. I was just like, ugh, but kind of had no choice. I mean, from all the other positions that they gave me, it was just like, oh God, no. And then towards the end of boot camp, when it was time for me to, for my, for that particular position, I had to get a top secret security clearance. And so I couldn't get the top secret security clearance. Just my dad's from Cuba, he didn't have his papers, blah, blah, blah. And so then they gave me like 28 different ratings to choose from. And when I saw corpsman, just the medical field, and said I had the options to work with the Marines, yeah, I immediately grabbed on it. I had never thought about anything in the medical career or in the medical field, never. And I definitely didn't think, well, I hoped that I would be somewhat good at it. But yeah, I went through a little 6 months of our little mini medical training. I got valedictorian, which was actually great because we were short 2 slots of where they would send us after we graduate to our different duty stations. And so the top two got to choose anywhere around the world they wanted to go. And so I went to Spain for my first duty station. And then, yeah, from there, went with the Marines in Hawaii for 3 years. Just went all over the world with them. That was fun. Then I went to DC. And then my last duty station was the Naval Academy, where I ran an immunization clinic. And ooh, that was hell. I mean, it's just like the new snot-nosed cadets coming in. Oh God, complaining every day. I knew it was time to go after that. Oh geez, I did my duty station prior. I went to Mali, Africa, for 11 months with the United Nations. So yeah, I mean, I've had a pretty great military career.
And so, in total, how many years did you serve?
10 years, 10 years and 6 months.
And so, when you decided to transition out, did you know college was going to be your next step, or how did that transition process go for you?
I did. College for me was always the next step. I started so late, and as far as college, when it came to the military, because of course, my first duty station, I was having so much fun. Like I just, even though I had friends who were taking online classes, 2010 around that time, there was that stigma against online classes and whether or not, it'd be transferable once you go to, an actual college. So yeah, that definitely deterred me, or it helped fuel my procrastination. Um, but yeah, it was just a matter of what was I going to do once I got out. Yeah.
And so, how did the service to school program end up helping you in your search process?
Ooh, so when I first hit them up, I was expecting to just go to nursing school. It's for corpsmen, that just seems to be the standard route. It's quick, simple. Well, I won't say simple. It's not easy being a nurse, but honestly, they helped because I was only going to apply to 2 schools. And in my mind, they were pretty safe schools. But services school, they asked me, why aren't you applying to any Ivy Leagues? And I never thought about it. I mean, of course not. You just never think that you're as competitive as others. And so, they definitely convinced me to just put myself out there. They convinced me that I had the stuff, whatever that was. And I guess they were right. I mean, they gave me an ambassador, and he was this is my first time, and this is actually his first time as an ambassador, but he was amazing because he was actually on admissions for colleges. He worked as an administrator at a private school in Chicago. And yeah, honestly, just Zooming with him, just fake interviews or mock interviews, and just going over my essays. Honestly, yeah, I couldn't have done it without service to school. I actually was lucky enough to meet him. He was in Baltimore visiting his mom, so I drove up there just to shake his hand because, yeah, he really helped.
And so, would you have ever dreamed of attending an Ivy League college?
Oh God, no, no. I I was like, maybe Ivy League adjacent. I was I'm gonna because my dream school was Georgetown, and I was in the DC area, so I got to really feel Georgetown. But Ivy League, I never thought, I was like, oh no, that's where they go, ooh, that's where they go, not me. So no.
And so, what was that process like, or when did you kind of say to yourself, Georgetown would be great, but Yale would be even better?
Okay, let me tell you. Uh, Probably, I think just over the process of looking or creating my package, and I started to see, oh wow, like I kind of got it. In high school, I wasn't like the troubled kid. I was an all A student. I graduated with honors and a dual diploma. I just, I was a foster kid and I didn't, I didn't know too much about school. None of my family had ever went to school. And I don't know. Once I saw the, what do you call it? Little pamphlet in the mail saying join the military, it was so impulsive, and I just did it, so I'm glad I did. But yeah, it was really through that process of assessing, like, okay, at my last duty station, I was taking lots of night classes after work, and I was an all A student, and I was excelling. So it's just like, okay, why not? I have the grades, I have the military, background, that sets me apart, especially, being the first enlisted to go to the United Nations, So it's just like I have an interesting background, you know. I I guess I do got the stuff. So yeah.
And what has that transition been like? Obviously, you're a non-traditional student, being a bit older than your classmates. How has it gone?
Oh, it has been humbling, to say the least. Like, you know, community college, they kind of spoiled me. They made me think I was super smart. and and then of course you get to Yale and everyone's super smart and suddenly you are not top. And it was just, and of course, I started during the pandemic, my first year. And so it was a bit overwhelming because I'm getting all these emails about the available resources, and then just everything was on Zoom, and it just became, yeah, definitely overwhelming. But and I was like, oh God, I remember I emailed my dean like, oh my God, I'm going to drop this class. It has been the end of me. And I don't know what I was thinking. I knew that, ooh, ooh, just know we got our A's and B's and we're feeling good.
And yeah, so obviously having that pandemic year was challenging for any student. Obviously, even more so in an Ivy League school, I would assume.
Absolutely. It's just, and especially for me as a non-traditional student, because the professors always say, okay, like you guys should know this from calculus, from high school calculus, that you took, or your advanced sciences that you took. I'm just like, okay, well, I took those classes, but this was 10 years ago. So like I am relearning everything. I'm relearning all the basics, at the same time that I'm learning new material. So yeah, it was just lots of endless study nights, just to catch up, to make sure that I had a good foundation. So yeah, it was definitely a learning curve, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I stuck through.
And has your military experience paid off in any ways as a college student?
Oh, absolutely. I just remember when I first joined my first duty station, like my favorite nurse practitioner, who I love her to death still today. She thinks of me as a son, but I remember she made me cry because I was just like doing everything wrong. And I don't know, it was through that though that, she kind of like broke me down and built me up and just made me, appreciate the struggle. Because, and then she reminded me, after those 2 years of working together, the long way that I come a long way, from not knowing anything about labs or assessing a patient to, you know, her giving me a lot of autonomy when it came to, her patient load. And so from there, even in my next year station with the Marines, things that I just didn't think were possible getting through, or things that I just, I saw with fear, but I still, pushed myself through and got through it. Those things are obviously translatable to, my studies. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm in this hard place. Everyone is all like, and oh God, maybe that's a thing. Those students, they love to, exude that confidence that, oh yeah, I know this. I can do this. I can do this. Like, it's like a fake it till you make it thing. And honestly, I was just more open about we're not making it there yet. But honestly, yeah, the military definitely helped me, just gave me that sense of perseverance, and just, you got no choice. You got to do it anyways.
And what's been the most rewarding part of your college experience so far?
Well, I would say seeing my hard work actually translate to great grades. Right now, of course, because of the pandemic, I haven't been able to get, the traditional college experience. I did want to be on campus, and I had hoped, of course, during the beginning of the pandemic that it would be done by fall of last year, but, that didn't
Yeah.
happen. But, I've met, some, a network of veterans there, and we chat every now and then. And obvious and absolutely, they were essential in just like giving me resources, when it came to like studying for chemistry or calculus. So yeah, I can't wait to meet them in person, because I think the human resource is the best thing thus far.
And have you found that you've been supported as a veteran within the Yale community, within the structure that the school has there?
I would say yes. I mean, financially, but that might be everyone. Um, I guess I can't really speak to the support just yet, as I've not been there yet.
Yeah.
But I get the sense that just looking at the other Eli Whitney students who are veterans, and their interactions with Dean Sodi, and just their wealth of knowledge, of resources and things like that, it definitely tells me that I'll be fine when I get there as a veteran.
And you mentioned that you had reached out to other veterans at Yale. How important is that, do you think, to any college student who comes out of a military background, to find that common denominator with other veterans?
Oh my God, it's essential, especially, being, 31, going back to school. I mean, of course, for me, I can identify with anyone. Of course, you should be able to find some type of, commonality. But of course, there's always that belonging, that sense of belonging that you want, to be a part of. And, it's nice to see people who had the same struggles as me. I remember just texting each other, like we had the same thoughts about like how abstract these professors could be, or like how we're learning everything on YouTube. Like, it was just nice to just basically do what I've been doing for the last 10 years in the military, complaining with each other.
So if you could go back in time to the beginning of your college selection process and or your college experience, what would you tell yourself that maybe you know now that you didn't know then?
Ooh, I would say don't apply to Cornell. They are disrespectful, not in a bad way. I would say, honestly, oh God, what would I tell myself? Mm, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I just want to make
Well,
sure
if you were going to go back in time to the beginning of your college selection process. So back before you picked out a school or landed at a university, would you give yourself any piece of advice now, having had that experience that you didn't know at the start?
Oh God, resources. Do not be afraid to tap into them. I throughout my military career, I've had, a few mentors, but for the most part, in my view, I've done most of the groundwork or most things by myself. I got to where I was, in in my own way. So, of course, it was a little hard for me to reach out because a friend actually, forced me to reach out to service to school. They actually did the groundwork. They sent me the email, and then when I didn't respond fast enough, they actually scheduled me a call with them, which I am so grateful that they did. And honestly, when I look at now going through like, okay, so I'm applying for med school, and all of the, all of my fellow students are, just showing me like all the resources that they're tapping into. And I couldn't believe, like, I thought like, these resources were just, for other people. You're supposed to, work hard and do it yourself and, be proud when you've accomplished it yourself. But it doesn't necessarily work that way. If you're not relying on others, then you're cheating yourself. You're absolutely cheating yourself because you're not the smartest person. You do not know every process, and other people are here to help, and they've been doing this for a long time, and they know exactly what these colleges want from you, and how best to present yourself. So yeah, I wonder if there was another program that I just once I got to service school I just stuck with, but it was called Ivy something, and I never replied to them, and I wonder if I did, could they have given me like another little nugget of information that I could have used now? Because now that I'm here, I'm just like now I'm just like, okay, ooh, what other resource can I have? Who else can I talk to? It's just I've never been this type of person that wants a connection here, there. It's just it all seems so foreign to me. It just seems like, yeah, just go to school, be a nurse, and then go to nurse, and then go do nursing. You're done. It's not that simple. So yeah, I would definitely tell myself, latch on and get in the game. Yeah.
Well, really, the whole networking piece is what it sounds like you're really discussing, which I believe whether you're looking for a job or college or anything, as you say, that really ends up being very key
Yeah.
to getting ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, what advice do you have for other veterans who might be interested in attending their dream school or an Ivy League
Oh
school?
God, apply. Not without service to school, because service to school they're vetted by these universities, so if service to school is, promoting you, and I trust that service to school um, will not show you sunshines and daisies. They'll show you what are your best options, and but just know that your best options are probably more than what you think. And so let someone else decide that. Well, I won't say let someone else decide that, but let someone else hopefully tell you different.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, I would just say apply. These spaces are not meant for young kids. Well, of course, traditionally, but they're open for everyone. These programs have been here for years, especially with Columbia. They've always had programs to help military transition back into the classroom after any type of wartime situation or whatever. So take advantage of it, use it. Don't sell yourself short because you will get something pretty amazing.
And so you said you're already applying to medical school. Are you in your third year or how? So,
Nope. I am a junior. I'm not junior. She's a sophomore.
okay.
I'll be a junior in next or in Jesus spring. I'll be a junior in spring. But Mount Sinai has a program called FlexMed. I actually regret it because they actually have two programs. One for military, which if you already have a degree and you apply and you make it in, they'll save a slot for you upon leaving the military for med school. But this program I'm applying to, it's called FlexMed. And basically you can apply in your sophomore year. And basically it's for people who, you know what you want, you're a stellar student. I won't say that, it's just pretentious. But if you get accepted, they'll save a slot for you in med school. So I guess for me in 2024, or you can take a gap year or up to 2 years off. But basically it allows you to focus on, your actual interests in college. So you don't have to take the MCAT. A lot of the pre-med requisites are gone. They don't require. And so then you can just focus on, maybe research that you want to do, or maybe for me, I love languages. And so I would love to do like deep immersion, in foreign countries every year, especially for me, because I want to be a doctor with, what is it? Médecins Sans Frontières. What does he call it in English? Doctors Without Borders.
Okay.
Jesus. Or to work with the UN again. I don't know. Once I had a taste of that, I'm craving it again. I'm craving it. So yeah, hopefully I get accepted. It's a very competitive program. It might not happen, but either way, I'll still be fine.
Well, excellent. Anything else you'd like to mention that we haven't touched on?
Not that I can think of. It's been great.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and best of luck. I hope all those dreams do come true.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. You have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.